You gotta believe in something. You hear this all the time, at least I do. Or did. I don't talk to as many people as I used to, but point is, man, this kid, he goes, he was self-professing his Christianity around at work, and as if no one had ever heard that kind of thing before. As if the good news was new news. It wasn't. I told him point blank, look, I don't really believe in all that. I allowed myself colloquially to say, really, point is I blunted my response because I was at work. I felt I kind of had to. Or at least the professional nature of me decided, yeah, I'll go ahead and just be polite about it. Any guy, he just straight up was like, well, you gotta believe in something. You gotta believe in something. And I was like completely perplexed by it. Like, dude, what are you even trying to say here? What do you mean? What do I have to believe in? You know what I mean? What were you suggesting with that? He didn't say. And so, like, I figure I might as well elaborate on what I could imagine. Some kind of clockwork was going on in his head that he just wasn't very upfront about. And I kind of think what he was getting at was, well, you got to believe that you're here for a reason. And I'm like, no, not really, dude. Like, no. Couldn't be any further from the truth. I think there is no reason. And there really is no purpose. Now, people instantly flip the switch and want to say, like, well, then, what are you even doing? And, like, what do you live for? And all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm not saying there's no reason for living. Because there are many of them. But is there a greater purpose to it? No. No. Clearly no. Like, no. No, please, no. There isn't. Don't attach anything to it. There's nothing here about it. The reason you're alive is because you were born. That's it. That's like, clearly not just it, but that's as far back as you might as well take it. If you're talking about the grand scheme of things, you exist. Period. That's all there is, folks. So, like, to lay claim of God's existence on the fact that there has to be something more, therefore that something is God, is just wrong, because there isn't anything greater. Like, and I can tell you why. Because what have you seen that is in any indication of that? What have you seen that otherwise tells you that there's something more to it? You see it every day. You live and you die. And in between, people do a lot of bad things. That's it. You know what I mean? It's just the fact and the truth of this world in which we live. Now, I like to go off on different tangents here. But I can say this with certainty. I can say this with 100% certainty. Evil exists. And it all stems from God. Not God personally, because God doesn't exist. But the idea of a God. And the idea that a God can allow you to do anything you like. Because salvation is just around the corner. You know what I mean? That kind of mindset, going out there, interacting with other people, what do you think it lends itself to? Madness and violence and all sorts of disagreement. Because everyone is God, right? It's all the, quote, I God. But there can only be one true God. You understand why there's violence now? And see it for what it is. Everyone is rocking that mindset. People just don't label it God. At least I don't. Not for me personally, no. Sometimes I wonder, a lot of people talk about things like this on channels, and how much of it is really just a reflection of what they're thinking and who they are as a person. People dear and near, they'll label this kind of stuff as negative and cynical and a waste of time. But no, man, because there is no purpose, right? So I gotta make a purpose. There is no greater reward, so I gotta make that now. I gotta make that exist now. And I see certain obstacles to my happiness. And a greater good, actually, if you want to know the truth. And 9 times out of 10, that religion has a first name. Christaint. Fuck them. You know what I'm talking about. Christianity. Let it rule. And everything's done. So I'm so glad I at least live in a time where there's certain stopgaps, certain barriers prohibiting religion from entering my life. Of course, it finds its way through the fucking cracks. Life finds a way and all. I'm telling you, it's scary as shit. It's very scary as shit. Just to maintain a healthy live tone of this, I'm trying to do things here, so hang on. There, let's see if all of a sudden now this microphone will lend any more credulence to anything I have to say. Even just talking into it gives me that air of superiority in which I can, more appropriately tell these religious extremists to go fuck themselves. Want to know what I think? Fuck them. And it's only because of social norms. And I agree, you can't go nuts. You can't be a shithead atheist that just wants to say things and do things for the sake of it. Who just wants to, piss in the cornflakes of people. Like I said before, man, these Christians are victims for the most part. And you gotta let them be, because they only have one life too. And as long as they personally aren't hurting anybody. But that's when the brakes start to squeak. That's when I start to really think about it. And I think the truth is the moderates are what enable the extremists. I think these lukewarm, white bread Christians are what enable the politicians, the power that they have, to really stomp on the lives and liberty of just your average people. I don't have a special case. I can't special plead my way out of paying taxes like a church can. I can't special plead my way out of going to war. I'm too old now, but I can't claim conscience objector here. That's not me. I don't have that right. They're even talking about it now with Obamacare. Well, somehow if you're a Christian, eat a dick. You don't even make any sense. Goddamn, what does it mean to be a Christian? What is that? Or any other religious affiliation? Ash Wednesday. Fuck off. now I'm forced to like pretend like ashes on your forehead aren't something that I shouldn't have to just go, hey buddy, look. You got something on your fucking forehead. I make that fucking mistake every year. It pisses me off. People in their headdresses. I work at a place, and I'm telling you, man, they're coming in there and they're wearing their bed sheets and their robes and everything, and I'm like, dude, you're wearing a fucking bed sheet. You're wearing a bed sheet, man. You're walking around in public in a bed sheet, and somewhere in that fucking numbskull of yours, you gotta realize that you look dumb. Why would you adhere to that? You know what I have to wear as an atheist? Whatever I want! And it feels pretty fucking good, man. I'm telling you. I don't have to fucking... Oh, man, I caught a dude in the bathroom one time praying to Mecca. It was the saddest thing I'd ever seen. He had laid toilet paper down all over the floor, you know, to make it not as gross, I guess. I mean, I guess if you're gonna have to pray to Mecca, then you might as well be as comfortable as you can about it. And like, I don't know much about the routine. I'm not gonna propose to know much about the routine, but he evidently was on the ground, and I think he'd had his shoes off. And at first I thought he was a pervert beating off in there, because who is just on the middle of the floor with toilet paper all over the place? What other purpose could you be doing except for trying to beat off? And this is somewhere I work, and I'm like, well, holy shit. I stepped back. I mean, I gotta be honest, I peeked through the crack. You see that kind of shit? You wanna get to the bottom of it. What are you doing in there? And that's when I heard his religious mumblings. No offense, please. But that's when I heard it, and that's when I go, oh, okay. And I proceeded to fart and shit right next to him. Not in spite of it. I really had to take a shit. In fact, it was a very awkward and an uncomfortable shit. Thanks! But yeah, this stuff, it just makes me so angry. But more than angry, it makes me sad. Because I think a lot of lives are crushed. I think a lot of lives are ruined by religion, if you want to know the truth of the things. You want me to explain how? Okay, man. I think I can pull that one off. I think I could shed some light on it. I mean, picture yourself a child in bed, you know, one night. And here comes drunk daddy. Drunk, sweaty, rude daddy. And he's crawling down the hall, and you hear his footsteps. And your heart drops. Because you know what's coming. That inevitable talk. That talk about hell. The door opens, and he comes. Maybe for a moment you pretend to be asleep, hoping that'll help. No. He's doing the Lord's work, old daddy. And throughout all the babble, because that's all it is. Through all the babble and mumbling, you feign interest and you pretend to agree. You nod your head when he asks you the question. You shake your head when he asks you a question, and you understand that the answer is no. And countless nights and countless years of this. And now you're someone who, who begins to question their sexuality, maybe. And creeping in the back of your mind is every terrible night you had to go through. And all the supposed truth. Because Dad wouldn't lie. Dad wouldn't lie to you, would he? Nah, not Daddy. And as you struggle with your thoughts, your desires, and the truth of who you are, it becomes too much to bear. And sadly, regretfully, and most importantly, unnecessarily, these kids end up jumping off bridges, eating bullets, hanging themselves, overdosing on pills. You name it, they do it because there's just no alternative. You ruin their life, asshole! And yeah, that's why I get a little miffed about God, religion, his followers. Yeah, I get a little miffed, to say the least. I think I'm going to retire now. I'm going to put down the mic of important speaking. Remind you to subscribe, like, maybe. Share it on Facebook, even. I don't care. Take it easy out there.